This is an LG Waveforce washing machine with the common severe rusting issue. You can see it's actually completely rusted through here. What happens is that after the washer is run, water is left in the softener compartment and it creates a nice humid environment that continually rusts out here. The bleach dispenser also gets rusted around. A few years ago, I took wire brush to it and spray paint, and then I sealed this with silicone, and that has held up very well. We are unplugged. The water supply is shut off to both hot and cold, and there is a bucket under the hoses. So remove the screws. There are two more. Just a tip, this is my tray organization. I have the screws numbered, and then I have a corresponding sticker here so I know exactly where they go, no guessing. All right, back panel has come off. This tube has been taken off, and all of this wire housing, because it has to be fed through. So I've labeled all these, I think there were 7 total, 1-1. Before I took them off, it'll help to be able to get them back on quicker. The screws have come out of the sides. This has been disconnected and labeled. This wire harness and tube have been pulled through. These have all been labeled AA, so I know where those go. And my goal right now is to work on getting this part, the top, completely off. These 2 black tubes need to be taken off. This piece has come off, and now I still have this grounding wire to take off on this side, as well as a grounding wire here. And I have to figure out where this goes. That'll be the last piece before I can take the top off. This cover is on by 1 screw that I removed here, labeled it 5, and 2 little latches here and here. That was just plastic on metal. Popped that off. That revealed that this gray wire hiding under there goes right to the control board. Pull that off, and a couple more screws, and the top will be completely off. Control board now disconnected, and we have lastly these 2 grounding screws right there and right there. I had one more connection. This just snapped out. No screws required. At this point, I literally lifted it up the top and it pulled right off the hinges here. And that's after releasing these pins with a putty knife in the front. Releasing more screws here and here to work on getting the gray part off to put on the new top. Okay, the gray housing is still not free. This is the plastic part where the detergent is dispensed, and this is preventing me from getting it all the way off, so I do believe I have to pull the solenoid block off, and that has 3 screws. Let's see if that gets us closer. Alright, more screws out. Popped the top off, then wiggle, wiggle, and this comes through. Continuing our disassembly, we have most things off the lid. To get the lid off my model, this had to be pulled back. I actually had to get a screwdriver under here, or you can use pliers to pull this back. That side pops off, but for the life of me, this side wouldn't pop off. So actually remove the bracket, and we are at this point now, and that just comes right off, and now it should slide right out of there. For the bleach dispenser, we're going to put silicone all the way around. Try and keep as much of the water out as possible. Alright, we've put back on the lock. Twist ties back on, thread through the correct hole. The bleach dispenser, I'm holding that in place with tape. I don't want it to move because I have silicone on the front and back of that. And I've reinstalled the hinges, and we're ready to flip. The lid was replaced also, and those hinges from the underside I have put back on the connections to the solenoids, screws. This is the bleach dispenser hole coming through. This is where you put in the bleach. That's going to go to this hose. So we're looking good to continue our reverse engineering. I've placed more screws. At this point, the solenoid can go back on, the solenoid stack valve. And it is then time to go ahead and tilt this 90 degrees and put it back on the base unit. So it is time to thread this hose and these wires back through, wrap that white hose around, install there, and then there are these 2 clips right here that'll need to be pushed through there and there to secure it. I'm getting this to a place where I can add the grounding screws before I go any further, as I do not want to short this out and ruin all my work. Ground wires are now connected, and control board is connected. The 1 screw will connect this housing back on. Solenoid stack has been reinstalled, and now it is time to put the back on, then the water lines, and then get the lid all the way closed. Closing down the lid. Everything works. To avoid the rust issue in the future, after you use it for the day, pull out the dispenser, dump it in the sink, use a rag, wipe this out. I have one that now hangs right next to the washing machine. This has silicone caulk around it, as well as where you pour in the bleach. We're hoping for many more years out of this washing machine.